guys know. I've gotten good at knowing when to bail out. Oh, there's so many signs when it happens. But look at this. Like I threw some of you guys off already. Where's the video at? Oh, I now know how to turn videos off. Not only do I know how to turn the video on and off now, kind of mind-blowing, I can also do this now. Wha-bam! Check that out. Wha-bam! Right back. Oh. Not gonna lie, we're getting pretty high-tech in here, guys. How is everyone doing? Sorry, I'm running a little bit late, as always. Hope you're all doing good. Joe, missed you on the pre-show, dude. Big Red Tower, thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really do appreciate it. I'm going to do my best to remember to look at the camera. Obviously, if you've seen my other live streams, this is an entirely different setup. Actually, you know what's funny? Now that I'm like realizing this feels very like normal to me because this is pretty much what I always see when I'm looking at the camera. And actually, let me check something real quick. Okay, the battery seems to be doing good. I don't have my battery adapter yet, so I'm going to have to... Eventually, this camera will probably die, and I'll need to switch batteries. But you know what? We'll just roll with it. But hello. Let me know. Levels should be good. Me and the channel members were helping me out with that stuff. It's HD quality. Yo, check that out. Oh. So I'm actually using my camera that I normally use to shoot YouTube videos. I don't have the best lens on it. I have like a 10 to 18 like wide lens right now. Normally I'm using like a 50, but I have to have the camera so close to me to do this. I have to use a wide angle, so it's not going to be as sharp as a normal YouTube video, but it'll be good. Need a closet like that. I know this was like a closet, and we tore these huge doors off of it, and that wood is all reclaimed barn wood, and Gabby literally sat here, and the pattern of it, because it's all different sizes, everything, she put the whole thing together here on the floor, and then we numbered all the pieces, and I had to go out, and the only saw that I had, we just have a wet saw, so you know what, you make it work. So audio levels are just right. Awesome. Thank you guys so much. Before we get going too much, and any moderators who want to share this, obviously I'm going to try to like say it throughout the stream. There's so much bad stuff going on. A lot of people are trapped in their house, and just you have to stay inside as much as possible. So what I thought I would do is I have, you guys hear me mention it in videos all the time, the fretboard decoder. There's a 3-part thing that's always been free. There's a 4th part that you could purchase. And what I wanted to do was make that free now as well. So there's a link down in the description. I shared it earlier in the chat. Big Red Tower, or if Sam's here, any of the moderators, feel free to share that link if you want to. It's totally free. It's not even like you're not even signing up for my mailing list. It's like it's nothing. I'm not asking you guys for anything. But if you're stuck inside, just want to maybe learn some stuff, practice, you guys can check that out. So that's all linked down below. And, I just hope it'll maybe help just the tiniest bit, helping people get through some of this stuff. Why did it take me 3 years? Dude, I'm the worst at changing strings. So we're going to change strings on this tonight. I saw my buddy Garrett Peters do a live stream not too long ago, and he was changing strings. And I was like, you know what? Oddly enough, like that was really fun to watch. So probably here in probably an hour or so, I'll do this. I might timestamp it in the video later, so if you're watching this on playback. But these strings are so old. I always just said like, oh, they're like a year old or whatever it is. But then when I really sat down and thought about it, I was like, God, these strings are like really old. I started to think, I'm like, when's the last time I changed these strings? And I was like, it had to have been. And I was like, you know what? It might even been longer than 3 years. So these strings are so dead sounding and feeling like they feel awful. Like I've used it in videos comparing guitars, and I'm like, these strings are just super dead. So the Tele is finally going to get new strings on it. I'm just really bad at changing strings. But anyways, let's get this opened up. Scott, what's up, everybody? Hate dead strings? I do too, but I hate changing strings even more. Did I get my tetanus shot? I don't know why that flagged your comment. Oh, maybe because you had the word shot in it. How funny. No. You know what's weird? So here's proof of my hands and their lack of oil or whatever you want to call it. So these are new strings, and they are not rusted. They are they're like I said, the G is definitely black, you know, but my hands just don't rust strings at all. Like I said, I know some guys have, unfortunately, like straight up acid hands and they just eat strings, but I can play the same strings for 3 years and it'll never do anything. So yeah. So how Ron, the break has been incredible. You know, the first week I was totally going stir crazy because I think I'm just like the type of person who always needs work. Like I just like working, but mentally, like, you know, I needed to step away, and I had agreed, you know, with Gabby. I was like, you know, the first week I will do nothing. I'll play guitar just for fun. But even like, you know, like 5 days in, I was like, you know what? I was thinking I'm just gonna go ahead and get started on that guitar course. She's like, nope, you're not allowed to like do any work at all for 1 week. I was like, okay. So I did it. I went the whole week, and Monday I was like, all right, today I can start working on this, you know, new guitar course. Put new strings in your guitar today. Nice. I got some strings right here. Like I said, I'll switch cameras whenever I start doing that stuff. Let me know if I go out of focus. I cannot leave the autofocus on this thing, unfortunately, because it'll do that. So I have to try to stay still, which is not the easiest task for me. And I'm going to try to read the comments, look back over here. Read the comments, look back over here. Zach. And if I missed your comment, feel free to, you know, post it again. You know, a lot of times the moderators will help me field some of these questions. Have we seen this angle before? No, you haven't. So this is something new that me and Gabby have been talking about, like how to try to make videos better, the live streams obviously better, and you know, basically I want to shoot. We have a plan that we're going to shoot videos so you guys aren't always seeing the same angles all the time. Like sometimes you'll be getting this angle in YouTube videos. Sometimes you get the other one. I think it'll just keep it more entertaining and more, I guess, like stimulating. What camera do I have? This is my normal, well, one of my normal cameras. This isn't my good camera. This is my 70D. I just remembered. The main camera that I use is an 80D. This is my 70D, and I'm using a wide-angle lens, so it's not as sharp as a normal YouTube video. I normally use like we have some really nice 50mm lenses that we like to use, and a 23 and a 35 sometimes for lessons. But this is a 10-18 wide-angle to try to get the room in the shot. Truth Guitar Method, what's up, brother? So yeah, so anyways, I'll get into this real quick, and then we'll play and jam and all that stuff. The big reason for me trying to upgrade the live streaming stuff, and sorry for the channel members, you guys literally just heard me talk about this, but you know, I get asked so much about Skype lessons, and I quit doing Skype lessons about 2 years ago now. I think maybe it was a year ago. I don't remember the time frame, but what I'm going to start doing is these live guitar clinics that you can essentially purchase a ticket to, where I'm going to prepare tabs for the lesson. You guys will know the topic ahead of time, so you can tell if it's even something that you want to join in and be part of. And there's going to be backing tracks, and obviously you get the playback of the video to watch whenever you want. So that's going to be all starting next month. And yeah, so like I said, the first one's going to be limited to 30 people. So we're going to have to see how it is. It's going to be an hour and 15 minutes. So I'm going to teach, and then there's going to be Q&A sections after each part of the tabs. And we're just going to go for that. It's going to be more geared towards intermediate players. But I think it'll be fun. And hopefully it'll be this nice compromise to people who want, you know, a little bit more personal side of live interaction. Maybe they don't want a guitar course, you know. Nikon or... Canon. You know, I've used Canon since I was back in school when I was using the you know, the T. I think we had T2Is or maybe T1Is. I can't remember. Or I think it was just called the TI. I don't remember. It didn't even do video. Whatever one that was. I think it was a TI. So yes, but anyway, sorry, I've been blabbing so much. How are you guys doing? Everyone, you know, hanging in there, doing as good as possible. I just want to say you're the man. Thank you very much. Peter Cruz, what's up, brother? If you're just tuning in, we'll probably, like I said, I'll start changing the strings on the Tele, and probably about the hour mark is what my plan is. So we'll get a little bit going in here, and but I'll tell you one thing, I've been playing a lot of guitar. Not today, unfortunately. How good are Les Pauls? You know what, man? I think, I mean, they're as good as any other guitar. I think part of a Les Paul's charm, to be honest, is I think it has a very iconic sound and a very iconic feel to it. Now, where the part where does it need to be an actual Les Paul, I think that's totally based on the player. You have to kind of like, you know, I guess bounce around with yourself. Like, does the name Gibson Les Paul mean anything to you? For me, so many of my idols played Gibson Les Paul, so I think it was just ingrained in my mind. Like, there are plenty of guys who will play, you know, like Sir made like this like Les Paul. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure those guitars are incredible. Like, you know, Sir doesn't know how to put out a bad guitar, but you know, for me, part of it is just I've always seen, you know, Zakk Wylde with the Les Paul, Jimmy Page with a Les Paul, even Eddie Van Halen, you know, Les Paul. Like, you know, so that's just kind of been ingrained in my mind. So I know sometimes Gibson has stuff going on that we maybe wouldn't approve of. So I always treat that as kind of like a, you know, I always say don't blame the kids because you don't like the parents. So just because, you know, they're doing something, I can't hold it against a guitar that's, you know, it's 40 years old. Like, it's from a whole different era of that stuff. Tom Scholz forever. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Hey, Robert, just joined my first band. We are playing 80s rock. Yeah! Any tips for band playing? Please answer. Yeah, Luke. I mean, the best thing to do is make sure that everyone is very like-minded. And I say in the beginning stages, just make sure that it's all about just having fun. It's really hard to be in a band with people who, some people want to be like touring guys, and some people are just in it for fun, and some people want to like try to make money with it. Just try to make sure everyone's on the same page with that. Because I found out, you know, certainly I've been in a bunch of different bands over the years, and some people are really wanting to tour, and I'm like, yeah, that is not what I want to do, like, at all. Like, I have no interest in that. And so, you know, then there's like this big clash of like, you know, I don't mind playing a couple shows a month, but they want to play shows every single weekend or 2 times a week. I'm like, I can't do that. You know, that's just not an option. The band thing is just strictly fun for me. So, you know, like the last band I was in was some of the most fun I've ever had because everyone was on the same page. Slush and 30s, but I don't know anything about speakers. Affordable Gibson. You can get like an LPJ or something like that for sure. I haven't played any of the newer ones, but yeah, you can even get old, you know, double cutaway, you know, Les Paul Juniors, stuff like that. And they're not, I'm not gonna say that they're cheap, but they're not, you know, they're nothing like a Burst or something like that. M struggles. Did I, sir, any recommendations for string gauges? I know that there is a proper gauge for every scale length. In the case, I'm using a Les Paul and tune and drop C. Okay, so drop C, you're probably going to want to go a little bit thicker on your strings. For me, honestly, I use 11. I never can remember. Is it 1146 or 1148? I'll tell you here in just a second. What does it say? I use 1146 on all guitars. Other than my 335, which has 11s, and my Gold Top, which has 11s on it. Those just felt better, heavier. But honestly, a lot of it, to me, is string thickness, as weird as that might sound. So it's not about like necessarily how loose or tight the strings are. It's just the way the strings feel. Like it's literally the thickness of the string. Because I'm a player who really digs in sometimes. You know, and I want to be able to wrangle it in a little bit sometimes if I want to. So I just put new strings on this one today too, so it might go out of tune a little bit here. Let's hear something, Jack. Look at that. Perfect timing, right? Perfect timing. I just played something. As for Gibson guitars, don't roll out the lawsuit copies. I have several. Oh, yeah, like the Ibanez stuff? Yeah. I've heard that those things are incredible. I've never played one, but a lot of that lawsuit era stuff, I think that's why they got lawsuits, because they were so good. Thank you very much, Dan. I appreciate it so much. I thought, I was planning on doing the stream anyways, but I was like, you know what? There's so much bad stuff going on. Maybe people, just want to get on and just nerd out about guitar stuff again. So I'll say it again real quick in the stream. If you are just now tuning in, I have a link down below. You can snag one of my... It's a 3-part guitar course that's always been free, but I have a 4th part for people to purchase. It's free while all this stuff is going on. You can snag that down below. No obligations, no anything. I don't want anything from you other than just play some guitar. We're all trapped inside, so let's just have some fun. Quinn James in the mother trucking house. Changing same brand and gauge strings? Yeah. I switched to these a while ago. These Ernie Ball Paradigm. I don't know that's how you say them or not. Strings, because essentially what happened was I kept breaking my strings, like the high E strings. And it wasn't just on one guitar, because if it was on one guitar, I'd be like, oh, maybe there's a burr in the saddle or whatever it is. Maybe I just had a bad batch of strings. But I got so fed up with breaking strings. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go buy a bunch of strings. And I bought the Dario NYXLs and there's another one, DR. I bought these Ernie Ball. I bought some of the Cobalts. And I bought another kind. And I just tried them out. And, I have a lot of friends who like the Dario stuff. And I literally put the strings on here and that day broke the high E string. I was like, okay, no. And since I've put... and I tried the other ones, and the DRs are great. It didn't break them. The Ernie Balls were just the ones that I liked out of all of them. And since that, I haven't broken a string. Use 942 on everything. Les Paul Strat. Yeah, like I said, it's not that big of a difference for me. I know some people like to step up Les Paul's a little bit shorter scale length. But, all right. Stainless steel strings hard on fingers. Is that what these are? I don't know what they are. Like I said, I'm so un-tech savvy. I don't know. I guess I've never cared. I mean, I don't have any kind of I know some people will have nickel allergies and stuff like that, which has to be really tough. But, do you have any problems with your neck? warping by keeping your guitars out of their cases. Mine are warped, and the luthier told me that it was the worst thing I can do. Yeah, honestly, keeping your guitars out of the case is probably the worst thing for your guitar's health. I have never had that issue. The only guitar I ever had the neck warp on was my old Ibanez RGA from many years ago. It was like the only Ibanez I ever had. That one, the neck did start to warp on it, but that was long before. Like if you look back here, can you see it? Yeah, you can. It's right there. That's a humidifier. So and I have a little heater that I keep in here and all that stuff. So I keep the room very consistent. And the only guitar that I keep in its case, which I'll switch guitars. The only guitar I keep in its case is my Strat. And what I do with my Strat is every morning when I come in here, I try to record every day, practice, play, and the case normally sits on my couch, and I open the case up, and what I've started doing now, you can't see it, but I have my normal guitar stands over here. Maybe you can. Let me see if I can switch cameras. Nah, you can kind of see it. I have my other guitar stands over here, and what I have is I have a little three-piece one that just kind of like what I just look at my guitars each morning and I pick out three, and I'm like, oh, I haven't played the PRS, or I haven't played the Dan Electro, I haven't played the baritone, whatever it is, and I'll set all three of them here, and I just kind of like messing around with those guitars that day, and sometimes I'm vibing with them, and sometimes I'm like, yeah, I'm not feeling the Super Strat thing today, so I'll put it back and I'll grab a Les Paul or whatever it is, but I keep them all out, if I put them in their cases, I forget about them, I should say I don't forget about them, they're not instinctually first for me to grab. So the best thing you could do, man, is if you're in a dry climate, or if you're like I'm in Ohio, climate's all over the place, get yourself a humidifier, a heater, keep your guitar room very consistent. They're out, none of them are in cases or gig bags. Damn it, yeah. Like I said, this is the only one I keep in its case. And like I said, every morning though, it's usually on its case on the couch, and I open it up, and then at night I put the guitar back in its case and I close it up. What made me want to play guitar? Some of you know the story. I've told it before. Oh, Gary, I'll check again, man. Thank you so much for the super chat, dude. Let me see if I got that email. Wow. A lot of you guys have signed up for the guitar course. I just got 53 emails. Let me see here. You know what, Gary? Could you send it to me on Facebook? By chance, man? Because right now I've just got so many emails coming in. About 50% humidity is good. Yeah. And another thing that I have in here, I can't grab it right now because it's behind everything, is that thing tells me humidity. Excuse me. On that side of the room, my spit went down the wrong throat. But I also have a humidity reader over here as well. Adam, what's up, brother? Did you say you're not supposed to keep them out of their cases? I don't want to say you're not supposed to keep them out of their cases. I think it's better for the guitar for it to stay in its case, but it might not get played as much. So it's a tricky situation, Do you still do the whole... I haven't done the AC/DC Thunderstruck thing in a long time, but maybe we will. Maybe we will. I want to see this. Gary got a guitar. I wonder how Here we go. Oh, dude, that is sick. So it's the purple one, right? What's the blue guitar? Oh, there's the headstock. Yeah, it is the purple one. Wow, that is really cool. I don't know if you care if I show this, but can you guys see that? Look at that. It's a curious new guitar. That thing is smoking. Something about just a simple, like, full body paint job. Like, no pick guard, just super strat. The cat likes to sit in the case. What would you recommend to help with my solos? I want them to be fast and clear while sounding good. A lot of that, Lucas, man, is just going to be, you know, repetitively working on stuff. So one of the things that I recommend doing if you're working on writing solos, for example, is, oh, look, you know what? I can do this. If you want to see my hands up close, bam! So, look, and there's a coffee angle for you. So say you're working on your scales and you're going through that kind of stuff, get to where you can play the scales or whatever it is in a lot of different ways. Now, whether that's thinking in, you know, intervallically or just literally getting your hands used to moving different ways. So one thing I would give students is I'd be like, you know, learn your scale this way. Learn your scale this way. Diagonally that way. It's a whole different, you know, beast of a thing to do. Learn it in like the more traditional box shape. Get to where you can comfortably navigate around the fingerboard and just kind of like transition around that way, because that's going to be, you know, just help you, for one, play more instinctually and be much smoother because your hand is used to moving in all these different directions and all these different ways. And work on maybe moving up a third each time or something, you know, through your scale, like I said, and that's being more, you know, intervallic and more, you know, theoretical about it. But it helps a lot, you know. Got great right hand technique. Thank you very much. I've never been like really good at like the legato stuff. You know, you get like Tom Quayle or something, and I'm not good at like picking. It's just this combo deal that I've always done. So try that stuff. And like I said, and this is when I start doing these live clinics that you guys can get tickets to if you want it. It's nothing that I'm not gonna make like a video to promote this kind of stuff. Just make sure that if you are subscribed, turn on the notifications, because I'll be posting about it on YouTube, but not a video. There's a community section. So when I post on there, if you have the notifications turned on, you'll get notified that I made a post, and that'll be on there. Check it out. Yeah, man, get the free course. It's down there. Yeah, Tom Quayle legato is insane. Tom Quayle, Rick Graham, all those guys, you know. I'm nothing compared to those guys, but you know, all we can do is try. All us mortals can do. Moving from thirds. Well, like I said, just move up a third in the scale. So you go. So if you're in the key of G, G is your root. Well, a third is going to be your B note. Then move up a third from there. So then that's going to be your D note. And just, you know, practice different stuff like that. All over the scales. Ian said, "What is economy picking?" Look at this, man. This is a great way for me to test this layout and format for these clinic things I'm going to be doing. So economy picking, think of it just like it says. What's the most economical way to do something? So alternate picking, and it really comes into play for 3-note per string stuff. So if I was the alternate pick, I'll change. We'll go to like A major. The big issue with alternate picking that is the fact that my pick has to change every single string. I go down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. It's never the same. Economy picking is going to utilize the direction that we're already traveling to our advantage. So I would go down, up, down, down. So there's 2 moves in the same direction. So down, up, down, down. But what happens is every string then is exactly the same. So down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down. The whole way through. And you can flip around the other way. Up, down, up, down, up. So that would be economy picking. How's your family doing in this time of sickness? Thank you for asking, Luke. We're doing good, man. Obviously Mason doesn't have school now for 3 weeks, but this next week was his spring break anyways, and I am extremely happy with how his school has handled everything. So like I said, he has spring break, and for 2 weeks he'll still have schoolwork that we're going to do with him. His school is currently putting together, it's called continued learning. And, he's still going to have schoolwork, so he's not going to get behind on, have to go in the summer. And I'm just really, really thrilled with how they're handling stuff. John says, Robert, weird question time. I wish I had like a little thing that pop up like, weird question. Where on the pinky finger do you get calluses? Tony, what's up, brother? How are you doing, man? Tony, I feel so bad, man. I was just going through my phone today, like deleting stuff, and I realized I never sent my text message to you. I'm so bad at doing that, man. I was gonna wait till I could actually text out a real response, not just be like, "Oh, sorry, man." But how are you doing, dude? But honestly, it's like my whole tips of my fingers are calloused. I don't know, like it's just kind of, it's like right here. Like it's just like I don't know how to describe it. It's like the top part of my fingers are all just calloused. One of my favorite like total guitar player stories. I've told it before, but I used to work at a store called Sam's Club. Not all of you guys have those, especially if you're like West Coast. I know a lot of you guys have Costco or not in the U.S. But anyways, it's a Sam's Club, which is this warehouse retailer where you can buy things in bulk. And I got really sick all of a sudden one day. I still don't know what was wrong with me. I was getting really, really dizzy. And the store manager, I was outside. I was like cold sweats. And she took her thing, it's like a thing that you test like your blood sugar. And she was like trying to test my blood sugar because I was getting really sick. And she was like, "That's so weird. The thing's not working." So the calluses on my fingers were so hard that her little thing that would prick your finger, she would she put like a new device on there or whatever, and would prick my finger, and it wouldn't go through my calluses. And I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. Use this hand." And then like this hand did it right away, because I don't have calluses on this hand other than my middle finger. But I just thought that was like a guitar moment. Like even though I was like sick, I'm just like, yeah. Like guitar moment. Missed the first part tonight. Seems that I've looked before and didn't. It might. This one will probably be left up. I've left the last two up. A lot of times what I would do is I would take live streams down. Because I didn't really think anybody wanted to watch them when they weren't live. But a lot of people do apparently. So I might leave this one up as well. Sam's Club in Georgia you would. Yeah, it's more like Midwest, East Coast. Sam's Club seems to be more popular than Costco. And then you go, Mountain and then West Coast and it's Costco. Is a music degree required to teach guitar? No, it's not. It certainly doesn't hurt anything, But I'd say it's not required. It depends on what level you want to do it. All right, let's put that thing down. Sweet, the dean will be famous. Oh, wow. Am I that far behind in the chat? Hold on a second, guys. There we go. Can you guys still see me okay? All that good stuff? Should still be good. Wow, 234 people. Thank you guys all so much for hanging out with me. One stage last year I was playing so regularly I could stick myself heavy wood screws and calluses and twist in a couple turns. What do you think about Kemper stage? I have mine on the back order for 2 months now. You know what? I don't know much about it. I assume it's like the floor unit of Kemper. I don't know a lot about their different goings on and all that, but I'm sure it's fantastic. All those floor units are so good now. The Axe Effects, the Kempers, you know, what's the other one? The Helix. All that stuff is so good. Looks awesome. I'm really glad. This light over here, it's making my, like, I feel like I have to sneeze. Regards from Brazil. Well, thank you very much, Jefferson. Hello. Hope you are doing well over there in Brazil. You have Costco and Sam's Club. Look at you, Joe. Got it all. Word question. If Jimmy Page offered you a Fender or a Gibson, which would you take? Oh, I would take a Gibson for sure. Even though I know, like, you know, the Dragon Tele, all that kind of stuff. You know, I wouldn't even want to keep it. I would just ask, like, can I just play it? Can I just, like, play a chord on the guitar? And then I'd be like, you know, can you play a couple riffs for me? You know, just, you know, maybe that would be the rude thing to do, but you know, it would certainly be a treat. I was just watching. I love these things that Gibson does, the collection videos, because they just did John Shanks on there, and that has to be, that's the best one so far. That collection, I love it, absolutely love it. I just couldn't stay away, could you? No, but like I said, you know, a lot of people have been kind of confused by, you know, like, obviously the videos have been up like normal, even though I said I was taking a break. So I've been taking a break, you know, and I'm excited that there's 2 weeks left, and I'm just really itching to get back to it. But the live streams are what I said I would do regardless, you know, because I don't really consider this like work. I just like hanging out with you guys. And this is just something that, you know, I don't know if any of you look forward to it, but I look forward to it each week. Because it's nothing pre-recorded. It's just kind of happening, and it just is what it is. And I enjoy it a lot. Let me see something here real quick. Okay. So, I don't have my camera battery adapter yet, so I will need to... Eventually, this camera will shut off. And it'll probably suddenly flip to this one. And I'll flip back over. But like I said, we're going to go for probably an hour, and then I'm going to change strings, and we can keep chatting. Comments on your guitar hangers behind you. Yeah, those are string swing guitar hangers. So I bought those, I don't remember, a while ago. You know, luckily that board or whatever you want to call it there was already there, you know, when we took the doors off the closet and kind of tried to turn it into like basically like a showcase wall is what it was meant to be. And yeah, we just bought some string swing ones. They didn't have black ones at the time, so we just bought them and painted them black. They were like the normal wood color, but we painted them black. My neighbors probably wouldn't appreciate it. Do it anyways, man. I can learn from watching you, Robert. Tendencies and whatnot. Oh, thank you very much, Chief Guitar Method. I appreciate that. I like Home Depot. Advice on memorizing the fretboard, please. Green River. Love these live streams before bedtime. Awesome, man. Yeah, like I said, some people were asking why they're so late, and unfortunately, that's just what works. You know, the weekends are family time, and you know, Saturdays are family days, and Sundays. So this was kind of the really good compromise. It's like, you know what, I'll stay up late. You know, I can suck it up a little bit and stay up late, and you know, I know some people don't get to do the live streams, but hopefully it works the best it can. And the memorizing the fretboard. I have a desire to learn Portuguese for some reason, Joe. Memorizing the fingerboard. Yes, I think one of the biggest tips I can say about that is, for one, you're going to spend your whole life working on memorizing the fingerboard. It's something that, you know, I always still work on. But I think, you know, don't bite off more than you can chew kind of a situation. Like, learn one thing really, really well. You know, there's so many things to learn. There's so many scales, so many different things. And I just kind of like let that stuff flow more naturally. You know, it has a very natural progression to it. So for me, I just started learning the pentatonic scale. That was it. That's all I knew. And I just, you know, I started in A, and I learned it everywhere. All the position. And I got to where I could play through them, you know, relatively well. And then I just started playing to backing tracks, and I would work on each box at a time. Well, then the next phase was not go on to a new scale. It was like, well, what else can I do with them? And I would challenge myself, and I used to do this same thing I did so many years ago. I do it today. I'd be like, well, I want to get to this part, and I start here. How can I get there that isn't going like this? Because pretty early on, I enjoyed the sound of the scale when it wasn't played in order. So I was like, one of the first things, like, revelations I ever had was I was like, oh, I could skip strings. And all of a sudden I was like, oh, that's really cool. I just loved that. At the time I didn't know it, but that huge interval between your notes. So I would be like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then eventually, you know, you come up with different patterns. I like a lot of these patterns I still use. To me, it doesn't even sound like the same scale anymore. And all over the place. So I say learn one thing really, really well and just try to hone in on it. You know, and then I kind of like, you know, you'll learn what you like. You'll learn the sounds that you like to hear. And like there was a period where I really liked the dark sound of stuff. And you know, that's a harmonic minor. But what I really ended up leaning towards and liking even more than harmonic minor was a scale that's called Hungarian minor. You know, it's all over the place. So, you know, I spent a lot of time learning that one, and then I got into modes. Probably did modes first, and you mess around with that stuff, and then, you know, I kind of would learn how things clicked, and I was like, oh, I think I heard Gus G mention a thing called, like, Phrygian dominant at one point. So I was like, okay. And I was, like, trying to learn Phrygian dominant, and I realized, I'm like, you know what? It's funny. That's the same thing as, like, a harmonic minor. So then I kind of realized, I'm like, I already know it. You know, it's all over the place. So, oh, Tony, thank you so much, man. That is super, super nice of you. Do you use an IR load box? I do. You know what? I'm kind of bummed because I have the whole studio rewired and hooked up to those of you who don't know. I recently got an amp switcher. Wow, I can't talk. And so I have all my amps hooked up now. So I've been playing my amps way more than the Axe effects, and I have all the effects loops hooked up now. So I can do so much stuff now. I use the 2 notes is what I have right now, and I finally updated it to where I can use 2 mics on one cabinet now. So I have like a 121 and a 57, and it made such a big difference. It opened up the sound of the amps so much. So yeah, I used that, and I also have my cabinet. So you see my Friedman cab, I have a Rev cab over here. They're all hooked up to the switcher, so I can switch to anything I want. I can switch from the Friedman, the green Rev, the orange amp, and the white Rev that's over there. I don't know if you can see it. You can see it a little bit right there. But I can switch between all of those. I have a universal effects loop, so I can put any effects through any certain amps if I want to, turn on individual effects loops. It took a long time to set up, and I'm excited to do a video about it. And it's just been a dream come true. But what's really fun is whenever I hit the wrong switch and I switch to one of the live cabs in the room, and I have a 50-watt amp on half volume, and I'm just like, go. So I remember I texted my wife, I texted Gabby, I was like, hey, it's going to be loud for a second. I just need to test some stuff. She's like, okay. And I hit one chord, and instantly I got 3 texts. She's like, okay, you tested it. That's enough. It was so loud. But yeah, Tony, if you have any questions about that, man, feel free to text me, and I can, we can just hop on a call or whatever, and I can probably detail it better for you depending on how interested you are in it. But you out of here, Metalhead Hippie? Dude, thank you so much for tuning in, dude. Hungarian scale sounds most like its name for whatever reason. It does, yeah, and it's only one note different from if you already know your harmonic minor scale, this could be like a really good thing to practice. There's only one note different between harmonic minor and Hungarian minor. And that is, it just has a raised fourth in it. That's all it is. So instead of your the perfect fourth, you just have a raised fourth. But what happens is it's almost like a little chromaticism, kind of like the blues scale. Obviously, I don't use it that much because I'm not playing it very well. I just kind of like transitioned away from those like really like more dark sounding scales. Cause I was in a metal band at one point, so I was learning all these like metal scales and arpeggios, and I really don't play that stuff that much anymore. Years ago, I was working on some JCM800s for someone. He's using a distortion as a volume limiter, and someone cut the power to the pedal. The windows were cranked. Oh man. That had to be loud. I remember I had this old Randall made these really cool amps for a short period of time. I shouldn't say they were cool, but they all had issues. I had 3 of them, and they all had the same issue. But I think it was called a V2. It had a built-in parametric EQ, kind of like a Boogie does. And this is when I was in the metal band, and I just remember I could EQ it. It just sounded so huge, like full of bass. And I remember I had it. This is when I was still lived with my parents, so I was like. How old was I in that band? I was still in high school, so I was like 17. I think I was 17. Anyways, and I remember I like hit one, I'm like, boom, like palm, and like the windows were shaking in the house. It was I want to say it was 150 watts, 120. You guys can, if someone knows those amps better than I remember, I think it was called the Randall V2, but I'm pretty sure it was over 100 watts. It was stupid loud. And a 4x12 cabinet. Yep, I'll start on the string change here in about 15 minutes, and I'll get it set up, and I have my tools ready here, and then we'll change strings on the Tele. I'll play the Tele for a minute so you can kind of hear it, and we'll see. I know there's going to be a huge gap between whenever I obviously change the strings and I'm not. So, there's going to be so many variables, but we might be able to hear a difference. Who knows? a long time to wait. Yeah, I know. You know what's funny is the strings on my Charvel, which they've been changed since then, but I think they were on there even longer. Yeah, you know what? I found out that I like 2x12s more than 4x12s. But there's no denying having a 4x12 is pretty sweet. I keep trying to talk Gabby to let me get a 4x12. She's like, that's just stupid. It's like, what do you want it for? I'm like, well, it looks really cool. She's like, yeah, that's stupid. I don't really play much acoustic. I do have an acoustic. You can't see it, can you? Oh, I won't be able to even move so you can see it. It's back there. It's not a very expensive one. 2000 a looper. 2x12s can be ungodly loud. Yeah, you know, I switched to 2x12s years ago, and even using a 1x12 when we were practice, I just left it there. A 1x12, in a practice situation, it can live. You know, the way that a lot of times we weren't mic'd. It was, you know, it would never make it. But 2x12s are perfect. You know, they're not huge. You don't kill yourself lugging them in and out. I like the high end that a 2x12 has. As you guys know, if you've seen my Strat Tone video, I typically like a brighter sound and I use my guitar. And there's just a high end that's in a 2x12 that a 4x12 doesn't have. A 4x12 has a lot of bass, and you're a guitar player, you know, the bass isn't my job. That's the bass player. So, you know, even recording, you know, pretty much every time I send someone recording, it's like, can you have more less bass? I'm like, killing me here. But you should do a video on opening. You know, I've never used open tunings. I've learned a few songs in open tunings, but what scared me away from them is the fact that I did it one time, but I was very young and I didn't really understand the way the pitches went, and I ended up tuning a string up to pitch when it was supposed to go down. I think I was tuning it to Dadgad. And I tuned. No, it wasn't Dagad. It was some Creed tuning, some Mark Tremonti tuning. I can't remember. And I broke a string, and it traumatized me. I'm like, never again. So I just avoided open tunings. Car Dynamics. You should do a video on open. Oh look, I think I just read that somewhere else, and then that was your thing as well. Yeah. So there you go. Thank you for the super chat, and there's your answer. So I need to get into them more though. They seem really, really fascinating. Have I ever modified my guitar's non-standard pickups? Other Buddhas? Yeah, I have some modifications, but not many. You know, honestly, typically when I get a guitar, it's just kind of like whatever that first impression is of it. In my mind, that just sticks, and I'm like, all right, this is just what this guitar sounds like. I either like it or I don't. There are very rare occasions. The Gold Top is one of those occasions where I got it and I loved the feel of the guitar. And the neck pickup is a Duncan Antiquity, and I love the way it sounded. But the bridge pickup, I did not get along with it. It was also a Duncan Antiquity. So I love the bridge P90 in my Friedman Vintage T. So I got one of those and put it in there, and that's like one of the few times I've switched anything. And there's been some like repair mods, like on my Les Paul, I replaced the volume pots. On this guitar, I've done a few mods. I did a video on it. I don't know if they're like considered mods or just kind of like restoration kind of thing. Originally, the guy who refinished this guitar had put nice CTS pots. I still have the pots in there, but back when this guitar was made, it should have had stack pole pots in it. So we actually found an original set of stack pole pots and then an original switch to put in here. And other than that, like I said, I would never do anything with the pickups or any of that stuff. Although one important mod I did that is not original to this guitar, but it is 100% essential and crucial, and I have to have it, is that I have this bottom tone right here is wired to both pickups. So a bridge pickup on a Strat, in my opinion, without the tone knob, is almost useless. I have to have a tone knob to get some of that bite off of it. Yeah, thank you, Big Red Tower. If you guys are just tuning in, I'll say it again. I'm going to say it periodically through here. Same kind of like spiel each time. Obviously, there's a lot of bad stuff going on out in the world today. A lot of us have to stay in our houses. That's the, I'm just kind of camped out in here. And I had made one of my guitar courses. I always am promoting my 3-part fretboard decoder. That's always been free. There's a 4th part that's available to purchase. Well, I'm making it free during all this stuff. So if you're stuck inside and you just want to learn some guitar stuff, check that out. That's linked down below. It says part 4, but you actually get all 4 parts in that same download, I believe. It's not a download. You have to sign up to my school, but it's free. I've never used Mojotone. I watched a video, a buddy of mine, Ross Campbell, an amazing guitar player. He's so good. But he did some videos with Mojotone pickups, and they sounded really good. And then my other buddy, Sean Tubbs, is always recommending Lawler pickups. He speaks very highly of them. And I like the Friedman pickups. It's midnight. Yeah, 2 more minutes. So I'm going to go blow my nose real quick. Sorry. You probably wanted to know that. And super generous. Oh, no, it's the least I could do. Originally what was going to happen was I had planned to have a sale on my 8-course bundle thing. But I figured now just wasn't the time. I didn't want I didn't want it to come across as like trying to take advantage of a bad situation. So I was like, well, why don't you do the opposite? Give something away to the people who are stuck at home. So that I figured that was the better way to roll. So well, you know what? We'll do a sale, and if nothing else, the other flip side of it is I have so many friends who are not able to tour and shows are canceled. Versus trying to sell something and potentially taking money away from one of them, by all means, support those guys who are having such a hard time with it. I feel super fortunate that I haven't been affected by it yet. That could change at any moment. But for now, I'd rather try to help the people who need it right now. Than try to be, greedy about it. So, best Strat ever, this one right here. So let me blow my nose real quick, and then we're going to hop into changing these strings on this Telecaster. I'll play the Tele for a minute. But here, make sure it doesn't fall. Just keep an eye on it. Are you watching it? It's going to fall if you don't watch it. I'll be right back, guys. Warm in here, says the guy with a hoodie on. Katana Salase. Yeah, I feel like, did they make a tubed katana? I can't remember. So I don't remember that one. But what I'm gonna do now is we're gonna play the Tele here for a minute, so you guys can kind of hear what it's sounding like. And then I'm going to set the stuff up and we'll change it. And I'll just kind of keep answering questions about whatever. Like my new Fender pod. Yeah, I was trying to work with Fender. Because they were sending out a lot of those Ultras to people. I just wanted to try one, to be honest. I did try them, but it's different when you try something out and in your own studio with your own amps. And I just could never get anyone to email me back at Fender. So I just kind of left it alone. Okay, so let me set some stuff up here because I have a lot of distortion. Like you can tell I've been on a break. Like I just look like a hobo right now. Adam, yeah, a lot of it is out of the hands of the musicians. I know I had 2 different friends who tours got canceled. Geez. Let's see. Jared, Phil, Rhett. I don't know if Andy's stuff got canceled or not. All these, just amazing players. Like I was just texting Jared today. Jared James Nichols, if you're not familiar with him, check him out. I love his music. But he was saying that he is, it's his birthday today and he's on his way home. Finally, he was over in the UK and all that stuff. And I was like, man, when it was all going on, I was like, dude, are you home yet? And he's like, no, we're getting on the plane and headed home. So I just hope everyone gets home safe. I know Phil X had to cancel his last 8 shows. So that's a lot, man. It's crazy. I know I probably have like snot all over my face. This is always why I quickly remember. I'm like, God, I hate having like a beard and mustache because like I eat food and it's all stuck in my face. But do I prefer a Strat or Tele? I'm a Strat guy. I over any the Les Paul is my favorite guitar that I own. But if I would categorize myself as anything, I'd say I'm a Strat guy. It's what I started on. I didn't start on a Fender Strat. I started on a Samick, knockoff Strat. But that's kind of where it is. So let me do this real quick here. I'm gonna kill the delay. I'm gonna let you guys hear this guitar. So like I said, these strings are at least 3 years old. They're probably older than that, to be honest. They don't hold tune the best. But I'm going to kill the reverb a little bit here. I'm going to try to keep this tone the same. Need a little bit more reverb just to make life a little bit better. Okay. The old soup strainer. So here, I'm going to mute the mic for just a second here and let you guys hear this direct audio and try to just like take a picture of the sound, and we'll see if it brightens things up when I put the new strings on here. Renee, I didn't remodel it. We did this a while ago in the summer. Basically, what I've been doing is I've been rewiring everything for this new project. So when I get back, I have a lot of videos to make. One of the videos I have to make is Ernie Ball has this new guitar I wanted to check out. I can't remember what it's called. But we needed to coordinate it and have a quick kind of turnaround on stuff. And I was like, okay. I was like, I'll let you guys know when I get back from my break, and then we can kind of plan. When can you send me the guitar to check out, and that way I can get it back to you as soon as possible. Figure tower, yeah. Like I said, these don't sound bad, but I'm betting the new ones will sound a little bit better. Let me get this can here out of the way. All this stuff. So anyway, so here it is direct. I'll kill the mic, and then we'll get changing strings. There you go. So I'll tell you right away, a big area where I can tell that these strings are dead. As a chord, overall, I think they sound pretty good. It's when I hit those low notes. For one, it doesn't feel good. They're not jangly at all. And it just sounds, I think, muddy for a Tele. And I've got the treble, dimed on it. So let's go ahead and we will get going on the string change now. I do apologize if this is boring. I'm just, like I said, just trying something a little bit different here. I always like to have this down whenever I'm changing strings. And I'm not some super good string changer either. So you guys will probably laugh at how I do it. Like I said, I'm not good. And the camera is unfortunately sitting right where I normally have this stuff. So we are going to just, work with what we got. Oh, Daryl. Wow, thank you so much, man. Thanks for the free fretboard decoder part 4. Doing great here. So right back at you. Wow, thank you, Daryl. I really do appreciate that. Yeah, and like I said, if you're doing great, I feel fortunate that there are people who are doing great and can hopefully give back in some way. So okay, so you guys can let me know. Would you prefer to have the camera like this or like this? You can kind of see what I'm doing a little bit more here. I can adjust it. But I'll let you guys kind of dictate that, or I can switch back and forth. That's not a big deal. So I'll let you decide. Do you want close-up cam or face cam? So I'll get going on this. Chasing the sun. I'm doing good, man. Like I said, thankfully, we're all happy and healthy and just making the best that we can of a bad situation. I did that backwards, didn't I? There we go. So we will see. I got a couple different things here that I use. And I think I'll just do kind of run the gamut on this thing, man. I'll clean the guitar. You want to see something funny? So I have this old polish. This is literally probably the last thing I have. When I started playing guitar, I got this kind of pieced together beginner's kit. You like the close-up? Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll do the close-up camera. And you know what I can do? Check this out. Check this. Look at this, man. I got it all going on tonight. I got it. I got this polish with my first guitar, Gibson tone polish, but I've had it the whole time, and it just works really, really well. It's great, and I've had no issues with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just get started. Sorry, everything's kind of crammed together right now. And another thing that I almost thought about doing a video on, if you guys haven't ever used these things, they're great if you're like me and doesn't know what they're doing. Yeah, honestly, the Gibson stuff, I just like the way it smells. Is the real answer there to why I like that. And I already have it, so I don't have to buy more. And I do use this stuff for the fretboard conditioning. It's a maple board, so I'm not going to condition this one. On my Friedman, I will because it has exposed wood on it. But the lacquer is still fine on this one, so I'm not going to bother doing any of that stuff. And then I just have these fret files. So if you don't know what this is, this polishes your frets. It does a pretty good job. So I have these things that I put over the frets so I don't mess up the fingerboard. And we'll get to doing all of that stuff here in just a minute. I'm just going to kind of detune this for a second. Do you still sell that in the same... No, I don't think they sell this anymore. I barely have any left. But yeah, this stuff it was $4.79. Still got the price at the guy gave it to us. Back up the shot so you can see the tuners, please. Let me see if I can do this. I wish that would be perfect if I could do that. I don't think I can get the camera to do that, though. Let me see. Let me try something here real quick. Oh, will that stay? That would be great. Look at that. That's about as good as that's going to get with the tuner system. But can you guys see both things? Like, it should be picture in picture right now. Maple a lot less work than rosewood. Yeah. When I do my other guitars, I like to condition the rosewood and ebony. So awesome, man! Look at this. Look at this. If this camera dies, let me know, because I have another battery right over here charging. It's looking like it's got a little bit of life left in it, though. Well, that string, look at that. That string was ready to go. me get this off here. I should have emptied my trash can before I started doing any of the stream stuff, but we're just gonna have to work with what we got. It's full of stuff. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of on top of it tonight, ain't I? Kidding, of course. So I let this net kind of like chill for a second. Are those jumbo frets? I honestly couldn't tell you. I honestly always forget which way the strings go, so I'm gonna have to tune it this way. So that's tightening. Okay. I'm telling you, I'm bad at all of this stuff. So anyways, what questions do you guys have? With the pop sound? Yeah, that's how I'm telling you, these strings are so old and shot. I don't remember the last time I changed them. So we'll get these off. How do you guys do it? I cut them in the middle, and then I just kind of like have both ends that I pull out. That way I'm not trying to fight to get the curled up end through the saddles or anything like that. Would you make millions selling violin bows made with you? Yeah. Tone violin bows coming soon. Link in description. Is good 10 to 46 if you go half step down. I use 10 to 46 standard tuning. On pretty much everything. I will say one thing. I like standard tuning. I do think that a Strat and a Les Paul just sound better half step down. The reason why I don't use half step down is honestly because of YouTube. Whenever I would ever do a half step down video, people would complain, but not really like complain, just be like, "Oh man, I wish this wasn't half step down, so I didn't have to retune or whatever it is." That one's kind of still tight on there. So I just adapted, and I'm like, all right, I'll just keep everything in standard. But I was learning some Zakk Wylde stuff this weekend, and I was playing the Les Paul half step down. And I'm like, man, that's really where like a Les Paul and a Strat just seem to come alive a half step down. No chance. Yeah, that's the thing. No chance of getting stabbed. So and then I usually just do this. And our cat would always get into the trash can and get the stuff out. Normally, actually, what I do is I get like a grocery bag. And I put the stuff in there. That way I don't have the loose ends going all over the place. But I forgot that. I guess I didn't think of everything tonight, did I? Okay, so let me get these out of here real quick. And then we are going to clean this thing, polish it, kind of just do the whole 9 yards of everything. Oh no, I dropped one. Great, I'll step on that later. And I'll remember. Oh, I love... You know what was so cool about that Rick Beato video of him interviewing Eric Johnson? Is Eric... I'd assume the guitar that he was playing was Eric's, but none of the gear was Eric's. And Eric only played for like 20 seconds in that whole video, and he sounded exactly like Eric Johnson. Like, tone was phenomenal. It was that real dark, gooey tone. I was like, man, that's just the dude. I just watched his Robin Ford video. And then I messaged Rick, and I'm like, dude, you were killing us over here. I was like, first Robin Ford, and then Eric Johnson. He's like, I have to admit, it was pretty cool. Like, sitting in front of Eric Johnson while he was doing that stuff. So that was really, really cool. I think I'll put that over there. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually clean the body. You can see where I have... We don't know what happened, but there's multiple chips and dings. I mean, this is a 2000... I can't even remember. It's 2013 American Standard. So obviously they don't make the standards anymore. So it's got, a pretty decent little nick in it. If you're going to get through the paint and polyurethane, you got to crack it pretty good. And we don't know what happened. Gabby thinks I did it. I didn't. I think she did it. She didn't. And we both kind of think Mason did it when he was little. So, you cycle my strings, point with the Dario player's circle. They'll take any brand. Oh, I didn't know that, Daryl. What is that? So you recycle strings for points with Dario. I've never heard of that. That sounds really cool. So to recycle them, I assume you need to not clip them the way that I did, and then you can send them to them or something? Because I would totally do that. How's that water? You know what, man? This is the best water. Water tastes real good. Heard the new EJ Strat doesn't... You know what? I don't like any of the EJ Strats. He likes a really thick coat of lacquer on his guitars, and I just do not. This is... It's a fretboard cloth. Sorry, I like to not mix up the cloths. Okay, this is a polishing cloth. Sorry, I'm like huffing the polish. I'm like, yeah, this is the polish. They all have their own smell. So, and this guitar hasn't been cleaned in a long time either. So, that's kind of like when I had the 3 Teles for a while. I had this one, obviously. I had the Friedman, and I had the Richie Kotzen one. You know, after you had them for a while, I was just talking to my buddy Michael Nielsen about this stuff, and he was saying, you know, like you'll have multiples of a guitar, and it's kind of, you know, the Macho Man saying like the cream always rises to the top, and it's really true. Like, you know, this is a great guitar, but the Friedman Tele with the P90s, it just showed like it was on like a different level from all of my other Teles. And I was like, okay, that was why I was okay with getting rid of the Richie Kotzen. The Richie Kotzen was a fantastic guitar, but the Friedman is so unique, and this one is like a true Tele. So I was like, well, if there's one to get rid of, it's the Kotzen. So don't have that polish too long. I know, right? So I don't really focus too much on the back, but since we're here, might as well. Okay. Now, I've always been the kind of guy who does not like to spray polish and stuff directly on the body. I've never really, I don't know why, even on the fingerboard cleaner, any of that stuff. I never put it directly on the guitar. I always put it on the rag. Get rid of the Kotzen. Well, yeah, I did. I sold the Kotzen to get my Strat. So that's kind of where the money for that one went. Same with like the SG. Like I got rid of my SG, and I put that money towards going to my Gold Top. And that's, you know, with both of those instances, I can tell like it was totally worth it, because both my Gold Top and the my Strat are so important, and they're just like, you know, some of my favorite guitars to play. No, you got rid of Kotzen too. Yeah, the neck was fine for me. Like I really liked it because I just have such big hands, but not like Paul Gilbert hands, but so this guitar, like I said, I'm not gonna like polish it and do too much stuff like forever on it, but you know what, man, this guitar could use some TLC on it. Good trade, yeah. You know, like I was really happy with the trade on it, so. What would you rate a Samick Strat on a scale of 1 to 10, which is good, Fender being 10? You know, honestly, I don't know, because I had that guitar, I only had it for about 3 months, and I got my American Strat that I talked my dad into like, co-signing on it for me, and I just worked for him for his construction business to pay for it, and so I don't really have too many memories of like what it felt like and what it played like. I remember like the guy handing it to me at the store. What do you think of this one? And my mom there, and I'm like, I'm like trying to like, I'm awkwardly holding the guitar. I'm like, yeah, this one's great. You know, like I know anything that I'm talking about. But I'd like to buy one again. You know, I found one that was exactly like mine, but they had changed the pickups, and I was like, well, that'll kind of defeat the purpose, but. Robert, thank you so much for the free decoder lesson. Really, it's such a nice gesture. Oh, dude, no, it's like I said, it's the least I could do. I hope it helps someone who's, you know, like I said, you could be just feeling down, stuck in your house, especially if you're in Italy. Like I I have really good friends over in Italy and Spain and all these places that have so much going on. I was like, you know what? Maybe that could be just like the smallest little like glimpse of light, you know, to distract them a little bit, because I know they're on a lockdown. My first guitar it looks exactly like what literally the silver Sky from PRS looked like. That's what it looked like. It was a Samick Glen. It was actually a signature model. I didn't know it at the time, but yeah, it was a cool guitar. The side doesn't have the polish. I just want to like run over this real quick. Maybe clean some of that stuff off. That's a nice thing. I used to have people ask me, and sorry, you guys have to endure me talking a ton. But like, how do you keep your maple fingerboard so clean? And they're like, how often do you clean them? I'm like, never. I never clean. It goes back to if you're at the beginning of the stream. Like I said, these strings were on here for 3 years, and they were still like, other than the G, they were still shiny. You know, I was like, my hands just don't rust strings. They don't hurt anything. We're gonna lock down come Monday morning here in Germany. Oh, really, man? You know, it was kind of funny because I saw so many people really upset that Trump was stopping a lot of the airlines and stuff like that. And I'm not making this a political thing, so please don't do that, because I won't this to be political. But I thought it was strange. I was like, you know, I was actually like really happy that as long as you're letting people get back to their home, that's fine. But I was like, I feel like it's kind of what needs to happen. You know, everyone just has to just really, you know, pay attention to what's going on, and, you know, just work together is the biggest thing. So if we do that, your hands is always, yeah, see, I had you know what's funny, Richard? I had a student who had this issue. I'm just trying to tear it up because you don't really need a piece that big. I had a student, I can't remember his name, but they would come in and the strings would be rusted. And I'd be like, I was like, are you keeping your guitar in the basement? He's like, no. And I was like, okay. Like, I was like, I don't know, maybe it's just damp or something. And then he came in the next, like, I put a new set of strings on there for him. Like, you know, his parents, right side, paid for it. And I was just like, and he came back again, and they were rusted. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I finally had him get a set of elixirs. You know, that's like the thickest coating I could think of. And he literally rusted through elixirs in 1 week. I was like, oh my God. And then I finally figured out it was just his hands. His hands would get sweaty, and he just had, you know, unfortunately, really like acidic sweat or whatever it was, but he would literally, his hands just ate strings. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you, because, I mean, who can afford to buy a pack of elixir strings every week? So I don't know what you do in that situation. So Richard, maybe if you have experience, do you just change strings? Is that like the only option? You have to clean them every day. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, I hear that. Some people like to wipe down their guitars every day. And if you guys don't know what these are, sorry, I should. These are just little polishing things for your frets. They really do make a difference. I highly recommend them. They're not real expensive. Anything I'm talking about on here, there's no kind of like, I don't know, sponsorship. I hate that I have to say it, but sometimes you do. But you guys can see these frets are pretty awful looking. You know, I actually need to have them kind of sanded down. I've never had frets on a guitar, the nibs, turn green before. So I don't know what that is exactly, but this is doing a pretty, you can see there's all the gunk I'm taking off of the frets right now. So they're already like, you know, pretty nice and shiny. So this is just what I'm doing. 357 people on here. Wow. I'm sorry. This is like the most boring live stream ever. You wipe down your guitars after every use. That's probably the best thing to do. You know, I've never done that, But like I said, it's kind of I've never had any issues with strings or any of that stuff. So I really feel for the people who have to do that. I'm here, oily hands. Yeah. Truth Comment. Hey man, for just a second, if possible, I am new to the YouTubes. How long did it take before you got some traction? It was a slow start. Just curious. Yeah, man. You know what? It takes a long time. If I'm just gonna be straight with you. I did YouTube. I remember I looked back not too long ago because I have another friend who was starting YouTube stuff, and I think I did YouTube for like 2 or 3 years, and I maybe had 500 subscribers. And I don't think too much of YouTube. Unfortunately, to be part of YouTube, it has to be kind of part of the outlook that how many subscribers do you have, how many views do you get, but I as dumb as it sounds, like, try not to make it about that. Like, I started YouTube just because I went to school for media communication, so it was like video editing and stuff like that, and YouTube came out at that time. Like, YouTube was brand new, and it just happened to like fall in line with what I was doing. Like, I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool, I can make videos and like do this, and I just did it because I liked it. I didn't know you could make a living or money off of it. So I did YouTube for years with zero monetary incentive. I just liked doing it, whenever I had time to. And then, someone I knew was like a YouTube partner. So like when I became a YouTube partner, you had to apply for it. Like, now anyone can do it. You just have to have like a certain number of hours or whatever it is. I don't know what the criteria is, but I had to apply, and I would like apply, and then they would deny me, crush your soul basically. And that was just kind of how it was. And then even like today, I still, even though it's like a job, it's so much about, I don't know, just I guess the community aspect of it is really what still to this day appeals to me so much. The green is usually a corrosion under the top layer of poly that is often painted, even other frets. Oh, that makes sense. Okay, thank you, Krager. Yeah, then that's what's happening to these frets, because they look funky, but you don't like feel it when you're playing it. So yeah, I probably need to have someone do like a fret dressing on that. I'll have to take it to Ron. Keep myself for not getting the YouTube bandwagon right out of college. Yeah, I always tell people, jump into it and just do it, and it's, it won't hurt anything, that's for sure. But for me, YouTube is kind of interesting because once you do it for a while, you see certain things. So like, I never like to share stats like views, and there's nothing wrong with celebrating hitting milestones and views. Like, I like to share like subscriber counts and stuff like that, and that's because, like I said, I like the community aspect of it. View stats are a little bit different because views are very monetized, and views seem like money to me, and I'm like, well, I don't want that to be the focus. Everything doesn't have to be about money, but like subscribers, I'm like, well, that's just kind of cool. That's just more people that we're hanging out with. So that's why I never share stats like, I have this many views, or I have this or this. I don't want that to be what the channel is about, and it probably like hurts the channel a little bit, to be honest, because it's just not what I'm like hyper focused on. But you guys have always taken care of me, and I just think that to return the favor, it's like, I can't make it about just views and money and products and all that stuff. So I don't know. Like I said, I think it's just that community aspect. We've always just looked out for each other. So, and I never want that to change. A few more frets here. My fingers are getting tired. Trying to write a parody for my Serena called My Corona. Oh man, here it comes. Facebook. God, I finally had to turn off Facebook. It's just like, that's all you see, and I'm like, can't do it anymore. And one day it's like all the serious stuff, like scary stuff, and then the next day it's just memes, and I'm like, it's so much to take in. I'm like, I'm just gonna turn off and go play guitar. However, on the maple fingerboard, Fender sprays the poly. Okay, it's about the greening. Yep, so that makes sense then. So the greening isn't anything like bad. Like there's nothing wrong with my guitar. That's just what happens. No, I'm not over the pick. I have this thing, or which camera am I at? This covers the frets, and I'm not down here. I'm not putting any pressure on the pickup covers or anything like that. And I'm using the very tip of my finger, so it's pretty like. Maybe there's a better way. Like I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm sure there's a better way to do it than what I'm doing. But this is just kind of polishing stuff. You're staying in and jamming. That's the way to do it, man. That's the way we are. We're just gonna like sit here. Like I said, we stocked up on all of our stuff. I went a couple nights really late to avoid being in crowds, just trying to play it smart. And we have thankfully, the ability to buy a bunch of food and just kind of like chill now. Mason doesn't have school, so we're just gonna ride it out, and we're all just gonna kind of rest and hang around the house, and we're actually pretty lucky. Our neighbor behind us is a doctor, and we're friends with, and our sons know each other, and they play all the time. So let's see. He's not like a hospital doctor, so he's not around the patients and stuff. But it's just kind of comforting to know that. That's why those are known you long enough respect you. You're appreciative of your presence. Oh, well, thank you very much, Renee. I really appreciate that. So if you want to see this, so that all came off the frets, and I didn't really like. Normally, I might spend more time doing it, but I'm not gonna make you guys endure all of that. But you can see the frets are definitely a lot shinier. I probably should have showed you before, but if you look at them, they're really shiny, and it really does make a difference. Like you said, when you're playing, after you polish them and do all that stuff, they just feel super smooth, and they're really nice. So I'm gonna go over this again real quick. I don't know where my fret ease is. Yeah. Well, maybe I'll do it since I'm here. It's not gonna do anything because it's a finished maple board, but normally what I would do if I'm doing like a rosewood or something, I just have this stuff. There's probably special kinds out there. Sorry, it's Gobi Labs, and I like to put it on here, and I would go through the frets and kind of do each one. But like I said, the lacquer on here is going to be more than enough to not make this effective at all. But I'll do it anyways. I might take off some grime or something. Normally I would have done this first before I polished the frets. But yeah, look, you can see it took a little bit of stuff off. So there's that. Get going on our strings. So and like I said, if I miss any comments, please let me know. Does she look like a version of a manager Tom Rambo if he took care of himself? Oh no. Well, hi Cody. And up here, yeah, this is all pretty good. So let's get these strings out of here. One thing I love, any string maker who puts all the strings in individual packets, we friends. We are friends. I hate the ball of strings, where you have to untwist them, which I know it probably seems like, being a little baby about it, but I don't know. It's the simple things in life, right? Yeah, the Truth Guitar Method, thank you so much. My Tele's from the 50s, and I don't think the frets have been cleaned since it was made. Maybe it's about time. Yeah, dude, I'm telling you what, try these things. Like I said, it comes with a little thing you can, like a cardboard thing you could cut out and put over the frets. Me, personally, I don't trust that. I think I bought these on Amazon. I have different sizes for different size frets. It was maybe like $5 or something, and they just cover the fret, and it's metal, so it's a little bit, to me, a little bit safer for your guitar. And I just push it up against there, and you can polish them. And like I said, the first time I did it, I used those things. I polished. It might have been my Friedman, and because I was like, well, I'll use it on a guitar that's already beat up, so it doesn't matter. But I was like, when I played it, I was like, whoa, like the bends are really smooth. Almost has like a stainless feel to it. If you played a guitar with stainless steel frets, they're very smooth. But yeah, I really dug it. So anyways, let's get these on here. I want to get one of those little like screwdriver or drills that you can like put the strings on super quick. Play some Nirvana. Down, 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 down. There we go. Where did I go to access the decoder later on? I mean, I've got my password. No, you just log in. Once you use that link, it should be free. If it's not free for anyone, please don't do it. I'm not trying to like trick anybody. You can do it for free. That puts you in an it's not my normal mailing list. It's like a mailing list connected to my school, which I don't use that often. You can opt out of the email. Like I said, I expect nothing in return for this. So do with that what you will. And you just log back in. You create your username and password, and you log back in, and then you will have your courses available to you. And you should have Fretboard Decoder Part 1, 2, 3, which those are kind of older videos. And then you have Part 4 as well. And they all come with tabs. And like I said, it's a little something for people to do if you're stuck at home and you want something. I know Teachable has updated it so you can play videos in half speed now, and lots of stuff. They've been doing some good stuff over there, thankfully. So let me get this through here. Sorry, get this turned the right way. Okay. Kink the string. Get those out of the way. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if I remember ever learning how to put strings on a guitar. I know there's some way to do it where you measure it's between like 2 string poles or something. So unfortunately, you guys are gonna see like how crappy I am at this. My strings always have like a million winds on them. I'm like, I don't know, just stay in tune. That's all I care about. I was just talking to Michael Nilsson about that. I'm like, my strings either have like not enough winds. I know there's like a science behind it, or there's just like a million winds. So see, I had a tuner here. What happened to it? And I just like to tune stuff up to pitch as soon as possible. And clip it off. Oh, and unfortunately ended at like the worst spot possible on here. And there you go. 1 string done. EV strings after like 3rd time. Yeah, like I said, man, when I was trying them, I know a lot of people like the D'Addario stuff, but man, I broke a string. Literally, like a couple days later after putting them on a guitar, I was like, well, these aren't the ones I'm going to use. Oh, hold on a second here, guys. My mic is falling down a little bit. I don't want that putting pressure on the focus lens. Pull 1 loop over, wrap under, where did I have lines? Oh, huh. Yeah, as you can see, mine has like 10 wraps around it. So, again, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, I don't stretch my strings into the end. Do you stretch them after? Usually what I do is I tune it up, I get all the strings going, and then I just stretch them, a whole bunch in different ways. And I just try to stretch them like this, I stretch them like that, stretch them like this. But I usually wait till the end to do that. I'm curious. So this is actually, what's kind of interesting is maybe you guys can help me get better at this. Because like I said, I hate restringing guitars, but this is kind of fun. You guys can make fun of me if you want. It's cool. Thoughts on the new Ozzy album? I haven't listened to it. You know, to be honest, I'd say I'm not the biggest Ozzy fan per se. I'm just like I've been a really good a really big fan of his guitar players. Like a really big Jakey Lee fan, and a huge Zakk Wylde fan, and obviously Randy. And it's just kind of like, well, without those guys on there, is Zakk on any of it? Like, I don't think he's on any of it. We'll see how this goes. That's who I want to hear. And that's no disrespect to Ozzy. I mean, obviously he's a legend. But, I just want to hear those guys is really what I'm after. Luckily on these wound strings, it's not that big of a deal. Electric winder, come on, man. 22. I know, right? I was just talking about that. I was like, I want to get one of those things. But I'm also really dumb, so I'd probably end up popping strings because I'd be like, woo! Just like winding too fast. I don't know why I tune it up as I go. That's just kind of my thing. 2 down. Check that out. Told me how to do the spacing thing. Oh, okay. Yeah, Gus G. I like the Scream album. Because I'm just a big Gus G fan in general. Like I love his stuff with Firewind. I liked it better. They had another singer named Apollo, not the first singer. I believe Apollo was the second singer. He was my favorite Firewind singer, and I really, really liked him a lot. And I think he did 2 or 3 albums with them. So I was a fan of Gus G long before the Ozzy gig was ever a thing. And I just thought it was cool that, he was part of it, because I'm like, all right, sweet, man, I'll get to hear some Gus G. And that album was great. I really, really liked it. I'm trying to think when Scream came out. Does anyone know what year Scream came out? I'm trying to think. After tuning and stretching, in case there are any slips. That's a good idea. I don't know why, but having those strings on the end drive me crazy. I have to do it right away. It's probably like an OCD thing with me. Got a little footstool, especially for that purpose. It's great, much better than what I used to use. Dance with Dragons, Game of Thrones book. Nice. General Ross's Guitars Tech shows an easy way to string up a guitar on YouTube. Oh, nice. Mike Hickey. That guy would certainly know what he's talking about. Not that you guys don't. A lot of you guys have probably said very similar things to what Hickey's going to say. I'm going to be on a kid's guitar. Yeah, I just remember auto-tune is the worst thing ever invented. Yeah, I don't... Yeah, that's a rabbit hole to go down. Video on string gauge, eye opener. Yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff about string gauge. Like I said, the main thing for me about string gauge, and I think what Rick said was totally right. But to me, it comes down to feel. Like literally, just the way the strings feel, like the thickness of the strings is what I like. So like on a set of 10s, I just like the way that 10 gauge strings feel. Like the overall just general thickness of the string. That's what I like. And that's why to me it's not about tone. Like tone to me is more like how I'm dialing in an amp, but or like where I'm picking or that kind of stuff. So while his thing was totally spot on and right, it's just that side of stuff isn't the way that I approach tone. So I don't even think in terms of like speakers or like magnets in your pickups or any of that stuff. I just think, oh, this is what this guitar sounds like, and keep in mind that I know nothing. So, you know, guys like Rick who have recorded people, or like Tim Pierce, like who just know so much. I was just talking to Tim, and I was telling him, you know, I don't think he knows just how much we appreciate the videos that Tim makes. And I was like, you know, you're one of those, you're one of the guys that, you know, like when you're talking, everyone else needs to just kind of, for lack of a better way of saying it, just kind of like shut up and listen. is really how, when those guys are talking, I feel about it, because I'm just kind of like, oh, okay, what's he saying? You know, what can you take from him? Because here's someone who has played more notes than any of us, more, you know, contributed more music than most of us ever will in a lifetime. I'm like, he's probably got some important stuff to say. So, you know, I try to soak up anytime, you know, Tim's willing to say stuff, whether it's video or whatever it is. But, you know, those guys are all super inspiring. Now, what is going on here? There we go. You telling 11s a month or two back, so it didn't pan out. No, I have 11s. I still have 11s on my 335, and 11s on my Les Paul. 11s on a Tele or a Strat, anything that's 25.5 scale length, it's just too much for me. My hands just aren't strong enough. I think if you were like the kind of person, like I have big hands, were there? But I don't have like the big like meaty hands, you know, like you look at like Stevie Ray Vaughan's hands or like Josh Smith's hands or something, like they've got some big hands, you know, their hands are thick, and I don't have hands like that. It's like my dad has hands like that. He has huge hands, like my fingers are longer than his, but his hands are just real big, thick. I always joke, because I look like he had bratwurst on his hands, for his fingers were so big. And he always said, yeah, and you got them little sausage links over there. So I don't have hands strong enough to handle 11s on a Strat, you know, Fender scale length guitar. But the important thing to remember about my 335, which I have 11s on, is it's even shorter than a normal Gibson scale length. Oh, I messed this one up. I don't know if I get enough whines on there. We'll have to see. Only time will tell, right? In 3 years, when I'm doing another one of these string change live streams, we'll know. We'll all be sitting right here. Yeah, Billy uses 8s. And, you know, especially as you're... Like, I don't think it's not like a who's tougher kind of thing, I think, in guitar. For one reason... to go to lighter gauge strings could be, I had people tell me, you know, they develop arthritis in their hands, and they just can't play 10s and 11s. I mean, look at Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean, I know everyone talks about how heavy the gauge strings he used, but at the end of his career, you know, I believe he was using like 10s. And I think it was because he had started to develop arthritis in his hands. It's like, heavy strings are rough on your hands, you know. It's like anyone. It's like, a person who works, like my dad, construction his whole time, laying shingles and doing all that stuff. So it's rough on your hands, and you know, it's something you really definitely need to consider if you're using heavy strings. Now, if you're tuning down like really low, then I think that's not a big deal. But Simon. Yeah, you know what's funny? Pacifica, that you say that Stevie Ray Vaughan was only 5'5". I recently found that out as well. I had no clue. If you look at the way that they shoot a lot of the videos, it looks like he's tall. And I don't remember why I was looking it up, but I just happened to see, and I was like, oh, this has to be wrong. I'm like, Google has like, you know, Wikipedia or whatever is wrong. And I looked it up a bunch, and it was like all these. I'm like, he was 5'5", and you know, just huge hands. Because you know, usually when you have big hands, it's not, you know, a lot of times the people will be like tall, like Paul Gilbert or something like that. I was like, I had no clue. because you know, again, like I said, usually the hands, like he had big hands. I would have expected him to be, you know, 6'4", 6'5", but I thought that was pretty cool. 10-for-2s from 10-for-6 pain in my hands after years of pins. Yeah, like I said, there's no shame in it, you know. Another friend of mine, he's an amazing guitar player. His name is Sam Colson. He uses 9s, I think, on pretty much everything. You know, and it's like string gauge is only important to, you know, a small degree, I think, in the overall picture of stuff. Okay. Look at us go. Look at this. Let's get this thing. Oh, I'm like, where's my tuner at? I'm like moving it out of the way. All right, so now that it's been an hour, who remembers what the guitar sounded like before? Shouldn't use my thumb, that's for sure. Should use a pick. There's my pick. It's funny, I remember one of the first lessons I ever was taught is from my dad. He played guitar. He played acoustic. But he always told me, something I always remembered. He's like, you always tune up. You never tune down. And it took me a long time to realize what he meant. And I always think, for some reason, every time I'm tuning, it's like I remember him telling me that. He was like, you always tune up. You never tune down. And I was like, it makes sense. Now we get the fun part of stretching these strings out. Remember a little dull? Yeah, it was definitely dull. Interview with Billy Gibbons. Oh, sorry, I lost it. I was up play 11s. Wow, 367 of you guys still on here. Man, thank you guys all so much for hanging out. That really does mean a lot. I know I sent an email out. I try not to like bug you guys with too many emails. I know like when you sign up for my email list, which I need to change it. That was set up for me. You know, I wrote all the emails and I respond to all of them myself. But I know a lot of times when you guys sign up, it sends you like, it's like an email a day or something like that first week. So I need to change that on there. I feel bad about that actually. But during the week, I just try to send out an email whenever I post a new video. So I was like, man, I hope people don't get ticked off that I'm sending this extra one. But I was like, but you know, I want to like let people know about the live stream, and it's just gonna be a hang. You know, no real agenda other than this. But well, you're gonna cut your fingers, man. Oh, that's a good idea. I've never had any issues with that though. I just put my fingers underneath here. And the anticipation builds. I know, right? Do this a couple times. Then I'll actually put it on my lap and tune it. Guitars just tune different for some reason when they're laying flat and when they're on your lap. I don't know why that is. Greg Baker, you well, all the Bakers on my side of the family are from South Carolina, myself included, even though I live in Ohio. But so maybe if he's from South Carolina, or if, is he someone famous that I'm just, you know, not knowledgeable on? Reference to guitar. So you're all my friends. Yeah, that was like, so that was kind of my thing on here. Oh yeah, sorry. I'm doing a bad job of mentioning it. Anybody who's on here who's new, who didn't hear me talk about it, if you want to, obviously with all the coronavirus stuff going on, it's just a bad situation. If you're stuck inside, I made one of my little kind of mini guitar courses free, the part 4 of my fretboard decoder. So if you're looking for something to just try out, something new, it's free. You don't have to sign up for anything other than my website to log into it to get into the content. Yeah, it's just free. I'm not trying to trick anybody into stuff. So if you want to sign up for it, that link is down below. Big Red Tower just posted it in here. Like I said, I'm doing a bad job of remembering to post about it or to mention it. But yeah, it's there if anybody's just looking for something to dive into. Obviously, there's a million YouTube videos who probably teach the same stuff 1,000 times better than me, but ooh, it's definitely louder. It is noticeably. Listen how loud it is. All right. On to the next phase. I've never played a Dean V. I played the Dime. Was it Hellraiser? Is that what his is? This is a Schecter. I don't remember. Whatever the Dime one is called, I can't remember. I just remember it was like the really pointy one, and it was like hard to play because it was like painful. Like it had like this little weird point out of it. Make your lessons all Zeppelin and I'll sign up. Well, unfortunately, that would... Well, not that they would probably care about me at all, but I can't do copyright stuff on those because I charge for them. How much do you charge for lessons? Well, I don't offer... I offer my guitar courses, but basically I only have them available at certain times. And... I don't do individual lessons anymore. I quit doing that a while ago. But something that's coming new, which is actually the whole reason why I'm doing this new setup, is I'm offering, basically, it's like a live guitar clinic. So there's going to be a subject at hand, and I'm going to tab it out and have guitar, backing tracks for you to practice to, and it's going to be an hour and 15 minutes, but it'll be limited to the number of people that can attend it. So I'll be posting more about that coming next month whenever I'm off of my break that I'm on right now. And yeah, that'll just kind of be, how that's going to go. And I'm going to, see if people are interested in it. The first one's going to be limited to 30 people, and that'll help me judge, is 30 too much, or can we do a little bit more? And like I said, it's all going to be based off of interest. I use Ernie Ball. These are the Paradigm strings. Whatever you want to call it. These, sorry. Right there. Okay, so now that we've done all of this, probably still gonna bounce in and out of tune a little bit, but let's go ahead and hear this. So try to remember, let me tune it up one more time just to be safe, and I'm gonna kill the vocal mic, and let's just kind of see if we can tell a difference. A difference on this. So here we go. Let me kill that mic. I think I need more distortion for that. What are you thinking of pricing for the course? If you're talking about the live thing, the clinic, right now my plan is what I charged before when I was doing individual lessons for a 30-minute lesson. When I quit doing them, I was charging $50 for a 30-minute lesson. I typically don't list prices on here because sometimes stuff changes. But I was charging $50 for a 30-minute lesson. So essentially what I'm going to do is it's going to be $50, but it's going to be an hour and 15-minute lesson. And you're going to get tabs. Like the normal lessons, I didn't give tabs. You just got like a recap video. But This one, you're going to get, like I said, the tabs, the backing tracks. Obviously, you can view the video whenever you want to. And there's going to be Q&A sections at the end of each part. You know, after I teach something, then you can ask questions, and then they'll go on to the next section. So, sounds blurry? Okay. I was making sure. I was like, did I forget to turn the mic off? Blurry. I guess I don't know what that sounds like. Interactive. Yes, will ring. Yep, it will be. So, like I said, you guys will know ahead of time what the topic is. You can download the tabs ahead of time once you, purchase essentially like a ticket to it. And like I said, but you'll know the topic. So it'll be like, oh, I'm talking about, utilizing major thirds inside your pentatonic scale and arpeggiating them. And you'll be like, oh, that totally sounds like something I want to do. Then like, okay, cool. You'll go to my website. You'll click on the link. Like I said, it'll be limited to 30 people. You can sign up for it, and then you'll get the tabs and backing tracks, and there will be a date. It's probably going to be Saturday mornings at like 10 a.m. Eastern time. Well, I have to figure the time out. That's going to be the trickier part. But do I ever bathe with our cat? No, I don't. Surprisingly. Never thought it was blurry, but you said it was blurry. The neck pickup. Sounds pretty promising. Also Eastern Time, Atlanta. Yeah, so I have to figure out. When I taught Saturday mornings, at 10 a.m. actually, just Saturdays in general were like the spots everyone was after. So that was like the day that, basically, actually when I taught on Saturdays, no matter what, you had to prepay for at least 4 of those lessons because there were just so many people who wanted the Saturday spots. How can they do that without copyright infringement? I guess I'm sorry if I misunderstood the question. Any questions over this? String change though yet, everyone? Need to be broken in. They are stiff. Play you a bit of Little Wing. The guitar's so out of tune. So there's a string change, guys. I'm not in the stream right now or anything. What guitar do you want me to play next? I don't want to play this one too much because it's just gonna keep going out of tune for a little bit. And actually, does anyone else feel this way? Like, I don't like the way new strings feel. I like about like after you've had strings for like a week and you play the guitar quite a bit, it's like there's like this sweet spot in strings where they feel great. I don't think they feel good when they're new, and I don't think they feel good when they're old. You just get like this little window of time where you're like, these are perfect, and then before you know it, they're old again, and you got to put new ones on there. So basically, you spend a lot more time, for me, with strings that I don't like the way they feel than I do. I don't know any Dio. I was going to say that my Fender Mustang also looks brand new even after 11 years. Robert, do you have any guitars for sale? I don't right now. You know, I was thinking about selling some stuff just to try... again, do what I always do, you know, put some money in some other areas and get some other things that I wanted. But for now, I don't have anything really for sale. I should clean up a little bit, though. So, yeah, like I said, for now, I don't. But, you know, every once in a while, I will have a guitar for sale. The Charvel? Sure, it's right there behind me. Let me play that one. Backwards. Let me get this cleaned up real quick, and then I will totally do that. That way there's just not crap everywhere. Oh, let's go over here. Alright. Check that out, man. Strings changed. We are just on top of it, aren't we? You guys want the Charvel, and we will make it happen, Captain. I'll move this camera back over here in case there's like a lesson kind of question. We'll see for now. Thanks. Still on here? Must be referencing something that I might get. Player Steinberger. I wish I had a Steinberger. Those are cool. I can get my like Hot Summer Nights on or something like that. Hot Summer Nights in my radio. Nicole, you talk too much? You don't talk too much. I talk too much. I'm surprised there's more than 2 people on here listening to me run my mouth. You know what? Charvels are great, man. They are great guitars. 100%. Let me just check what this other angle is right now. Okay, that's pretty decent. Go back up to this. But now that the tone side's over, I can actually adjust my settings again. AKA all the reverb and delay. There we go. All right, back to normal, too much distortion tone. All the tapping licks, right? I've played some GNLs, not lots, but I have played some. You know what? I am tired. But I can stay up late one night with you guys. Just gotta get my hands warmed up now. Just finished buying guitars. I don't really know any Steve I. I know like the scale he uses. There you go. Something, yeah. I never learned any of Steve Vai's stuff, but I always liked how he used the Lydian scale and stuff. Bought a 12-string. You know, I almost bought a new guitar. I was looking at an old Gretsch, and it was at Chicago Music Exchange, and and they're always really nice, and but I had a budget, and I was talking to the channel members the other night about this, and I'm trying to be more diligent about sticking with a budget when I set one for myself, and being okay with walking away from guitars, and I asked him, I was like, hey, I really like this guitar. I had a couple questions about it because it was an older Gretsch, is what I was looking at, and I was like, okay, could you guys get the price down around this? And it wasn't like a huge difference. It was about $300 different, which maybe I'm just maybe I was just asking too much, like it just wasn't there, and you're like, no, we really couldn't do that. And I was like, okay, because it's just kind of over my budget right now, and they came down a little bit, and I was like, I think for now I'm just gonna wait on it, and just hang on for a little bit. And then obviously all this stuff has been going on, and I'm really glad that I did wait now, and and kind of held on to my money. But Old Gretsch, yeah, it was a really cool old Gretsch. It was a 62, and Gretschers are kind of nice because you can get an old one, and some of them are really expensive, and some of them are more like a player grade. They've got some bumps and bruises on them. But as long as it's still old wood, old magnets and all that. It was a Tennessean is what I was looking at. 6120, I believe, is what it was. Stack Seymour Duncan. I want that. Hey, Jerry, what's funny is I was just talking to the guys over there, and the guitar is all fixed and ready to go. Oh, Keith, thank you so much, dude. Whew, sorry, you guys are dealing with some crappy, tired hands. Playing drunk? No, just playing tired. Surprise, Keith. Where was your dress comment, Keith? Are you slipping, or did I miss it? Rock that string thing for a while. It might be worth it to check with him again. Yeah, maybe I will. The budget Gretsch to find a reason to pay more. I want to play one of those for sure. It's funny, actually. My for probably the first time ever. Part of me not getting it, I shouldn't make it sound like it was me, just this like adult decision. It wasn't. A really good friend of mine, Michael Nielsen, actually helped talk me out of it. So it just kind of made sense what he was saying, because he had a Gretsch for a while, and he no longer has it. He ended up, I don't know if he traded it or sold it or whatever. He got a 335 in its place. And he was just saying, he said, like, it does the one thing, he's talking about the sustain and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So I might hold off and get something else. Or what Gabby was recommending was maybe getting like a Vox amp or something a little bit different than what I have. So. How did you learn guitar, and is it different than how you would want to learn to be out today? I'd say no, I guess in a sense, because I teach a lot of the same stuff that I was taught. I got lucky and I had some really good guitar teachers. Aside from my first guitar teacher, which I don't remember his name, I think he was not a very good guitar teacher. But the next guitar teacher I had was someone by the name of Tim McMillan. He was an amazing guitarist, he still is, and an amazing teacher. And oddly enough, he moved, but his guitar teacher moved back to town, where I used to live, and his name was Milo Scamboloni. And Milo was an incredible teacher, a great guitar player, but just an amazing guitar teacher. And he kind of he tricked you into learning stuff. It's almost like how, you trick your kids into eating the vegetables, and you got to hide it in the drink with the fruit. But he was just an incredible guitar teacher. And like I said, I think he is teaching again now. But he's the one who, whenever I was learning, he would give me scales, but he didn't write them out. He wrote them on tablets or paper, but he didn't write them out, numerically. It wasn't written in number form. When it was a C major scale or whatever scale it was, or G major, he would write them out on there with the notes. So it'd be G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, and I'd be like, oh shoot. So he was like, I wanted to learn the scales because I just liked the way the scale sounded, and he'd write it all the way across the board, and it tricked me into learning the notes. And it was just stuff like that. And like I said, he was disciplined in the way that he taught, but he was also really fun because I wanted to learn Van Halen, so he'd be like, all right, yeah, what do you want to learn, So we would learn Panama or whatever it was, but also then it would be like, okay, well, here's the scale that's in here too. So that I think that really shaped the way that I wanted to teach people. Is I was like, okay, teach them what they want to know, and teach them what you want them to know as well, and they learn to appreciate it. Akara, thank you so much for the super chat. I love the little birds that are on those things. It's so funny. But thank you so much. I truly do appreciate that. Yeah, he forced me to learn the fingerboard, so I didn't realize what I was learning. I had 3 guitar teachers over the years, because essentially what happened was, Tim, like I said, I started taking lessons from a guy named Tim McMillan, amazing player, amazing teacher. Tim was really good, but I didn't have him very long, was I think the issue. He moved. He actually was one of the higher up people at Fender. That's where he moved because he got a job at Fender. And so he did that, and then I had Milo. I had Milo for probably a year and learned a lot with Milo. Milo taught me a lot of my beginning, kind of diving into theory and building a lot of different chops. And then Milo moved, and I took lessons from a guy named Toby Loy. And Toby is who I learned most of my theory from for another year. So I took lessons for probably 2 years. And I shouldn't say I learned most of my theory on my own, but most of what got me in the door to theory then came from him. And Toby taught me stuff like the Get the Funk Out solo, and then we would learn the arpeggios behind it and stuff like that. Oh, thank you so much, Craig. Battery alert on the camera. Let me switch that, dude. And thank you for the super chat. You didn't have to super chat me to do that. Let me switch these camera batteries real quick. hopefully this works. I don't even know if I can like do this without the camera like freaking out. So we'll see shortly. If I'm stuck with the old camera view, then we'll know I messed up. There we go. You know what was funny? Nice. Look at that. It worked. To do this stuff, I had to open up my camera bag. So the camera bag has been put away in all the tripods and lights for 2 weeks now. It was weird. I was like, wow, it feels strange almost to be like setting this stuff up again. But it should be good to go now. So that's pretty good. So that one battery lasted 2.5 hours. Because I also did the channel members live stream as well. So almost 3 hours of continuous use. It's pretty good. So I'll go for 3 hours though. I ain't no wimp. What guitar do you guys want to see next? Same licks, different guitar. It's another string change day. No. God, please. Anything but a Floyd Rose string change. Do you own custom mods? What does that mean? Cali? I'll play the Cali. Custom mods, do you mean like a custom, like guitar, I guess? I played an E chord on my Les Paul to the Marshall stack and could instantly feel Chester growing. Can you speak of this? Yeah, Josh, there's nothing like playing an amp loud. You know, it's not good for your ears, you know, by any means, but there's just something about the feel of a loud amp. You know, it's hard to, I shouldn't say it's hard to replicate. You can't replicate it. I got to vote for the Cali, the old Strat, 335. The Charvel, I'm already playing the Charvel. All right, 2 for 335. All right, 335 it is. Now, keep in mind, this thing has 11 gauge strings on it, so my fingers might not be up for the challenge. Oh, there's another 335. I don't have my my right angle cable, so I gotta watch what I'm doing over here. I think I started the stream more like over here like this. I just keep moving. If I go out of focus or something, please let me know. You know what? I wonder. That keeps popping up. I haven't refreshed my email in a while. And I'll tell you why I'm checking this right now. Oh, God. A lot of you guys have joined the course. Look at all my phone just updated. Yeah, you can't see it, but there's just so many emails on here. Wow, that's gonna take a while. Anyways, what I'm talking about is if you're new, just tuning in, you can snag a free guitar course with an extra part that I normally don't give away for free, linked down below in the description. It's just because, like I said, a lot of us are stuck at home right now, And if you're just looking for something to do, to try maybe some new stuff, check out the course. If not, no hard feelings. It's just something I was kind of throwing out there. You need a camera. I know I can't keep the autofocus stuff on because it puts a box that you guys can see as well. Can't do this. There we go. Let me I'll kill the vocal mic here for a second. Sorry, I forgot to turn the mic back on. But yeah, the battery shouldn't be on. It says it's got full life. Oh no, man, that was rough. I can feel how tired my hands are. All right. What guitar next? What guitar do you guys want to see next? You got the gold top back there, the vintage S. I've got the Strat. My other Les Paul, if you want to. PRS. Did I say that already? What you guys want? You just tell me. Tell you what, one of the most fun tones that I just like using now is the neck pickup, kind of like that woman tone. Not that much. You got here, Caffeine Thug? Thank you so much, dude. Uh-oh. Woof. What do we got? I got PRS. Okay, 1 for the PRS, 1 for the Strat, 2 for the Strat. Oh, 2 for the Gold Top, 2 for the PRS, 2 for the KM, 3 for the KM, 3 for the Strat. Okay, I got 3 for the Strat, 3 for the KM, and 3 for the PRS. Who's going to be the one to break it? Next one wins. PRS, Strat, Les Paul. Let me know. Who's gonna be the one? All right, KM it is. Les Paul wins. We'll do the Strat after the Les Paul. Old Faithful. The guitar I hold so dear. Gentlemen, go to the Cronus. If we have time, I'll dive into the Cronus. Oh yeah. All right, here you go. Direct audio. There we go. Fans make my nose run. Who knows what riff that was? Who can name it? Hard to play. Yeah. This makes you want to dig in when you're playing that one. Settings so you can pick your best sounding amp your own. Sorry, let me read that again. Sorry, could you plug the same guitar into all your amps with no and same amp settings? You can see the best. I could do that now, thankfully, with the switcher that I have. I don't have that stuff hooked up. I have it hooked up, but not to work with the live stream. I wanted to have it all hooked up today, but I didn't have time, unfortunately. So hopefully the next live stream will be with the amps, and we can switch amps and do all that kind of stuff. So. Down, 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 down. Should a teacher go by the book and teach based on personal experience? It's tough, you know. I think there's advantages to both. I always just kind of structured the stuff. Like I had general topics that I would hit, but it was much more about the individual that I was teaching than anything else. You know, because you can't teach someone who wants to learn AC/DC the same way you can teach someone who wants to learn, I don't know, Fleetwood Mac or Dave Matthews Band or something. You know, it's just that they're different paths that they should take, in my opinion. Here we go. So here's the Strat direct audio. We're winding down here now. Bam! Oh, my hands are tired. It's a Sean Tubbs look. I'm trying to get better. Oh. I'm too out of it to remember it. It's a tricky one. Levi Clay transcribed that in one of his live streams, so I've been like. It's a fun little lick though. How about some Yngwie? I'm not. My hands aren't ready for that right now. Sorry. 17. Yeah, you guys are picking. Why are you picking all the hard songs now? Earlier you're asking for Nirvana. Now it's like it's almost 3 a.m. and you're like, play some Yngwie. I don't know any Jeff Beck, believe it or not. What a shame that is. If I ever want to sell it, I can answer that one right now. Never. I'll show you the other tone that I have for the Strat. It's got a lot more reverb. It's way more Eric Johnson-y. It's a very thick and kind of fat sound. It's not as snappy. Hopefully it doesn't clip. But here's this tone, which I really like. It's just a really really inspiring tone to play with, to be honest. So I'll play with this for a second, and then that'll probably put us at about time, and then we'll wrap stuff up. So here you go. Here's the tone on this one. Again, the hands aren't even ready for chords, so. Give me back, give me back. There we go. Oh, that's in drop D, isn't it? I think that song's in drop D. Favorite kind of students? Just people who are really passionate about learning, to be honest. That was one of the big things why I liked that I transitioned fairly early on to all Skype lessons and stuff like that. It happened out of necessity, but what I found whenever I ended up switching and kind of like closing down the little school that we had started was that people who took Skype lessons from me, they were all serious and typically older. You know, like when you were doing in-person lessons, a lot of times parents would have their kids do it. Sometimes the kids didn't want to learn how to play guitar, but the parents wanted them to learn. And it was always a tricky kind of like situation because, you know, it's your job to teach, but sometimes the kid doesn't want to learn it. So I found with Skype lessons, the only people who took lessons from me were people who actually wanted to learn. So it made it really fun. So those were my favorite students, you know, the ones that were really like serious about it. Chord hurt your hand. It's not that bad. It's a nice chord, you know, the way they work together. If it's still pulled up. I don't know if you guys can hear this very well or not, but so some of you might know, some of you might not, that I'm coming out with an 80s EP. Yeah. I don't have the solo yet, it's just improvised. So I don't even know if you guys can hear it at all, but I've been working on these 80s songs. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, I see what happened. Where are the little... Okay, turn all the soloing off. There we go. Can you guys hear that? This is like one of the songs I'm working on right now. All 80s. All 80s all the time. There's choppers and chop. Yeah. You keep saying that, you really won't. You hear, okay, you hear a little bit. Like I said, it's probably not going to sound good. There's probably not going to be much bass. But yeah, so this was the song that I was, the most recent one. There's 4 of them. Oh, I'm not singing, it's instrumental. But it is going to be mixed by someone and all that. So you can kind of hear... This is all recorded with Tele. It's just fun, you know. I love 80s music. So on. So I don't know how much you guys can even hear of that. But backtrack on YouTube. So can you tell me how to get some really good ones you like? You know, there's this place called, I don't remember what it's called. Elevated Backing Tracks. It's like some of the best ones out there. My buddy Quist has some really good ones as well. Yeah, so I'll tell you guys real quick. Because a lot of times when I'm coming out with new courses, I keep it a secret because basically I was going to have a new course. Got to run it later, Joe. Thank you so much for tuning in, buddy. I was gonna have this course and release it here pretty soon, but with everything that's going on, like I said, I just kind of held off. I didn't want it to seem like I was, taking advantage of a bad situation. So I'm not releasing it yet. But essentially, I have the stuff ready for. I'm gonna release them together. They're gonna work together, but it's going to be. I have an 80s EP, but I'm also doing an entire 80s guitar course about like the scales and chords and songwriting and solos and basically this song that you're hearing is the intro for the course. So I'm gonna have like a full song breakdown, the backing track for it, tabs. I'm actually gonna have Levi Clay transcribe everything that I write for it. That way it's all done right. So he's gonna transcribe that song for me. I need to see how long it is to see how expensive it'll cost, or how expensive it will be. Which it'll cost. But yeah, and I gotta get finished writing the solo for it because I just have an improv solo right now. But it's gonna be cool. I'm really excited about it, and it's a course I wanted to make. And then maybe if I have time by the end of the year, I'll have Rock and Roll Boot Camp Part 2. But for this one, like I said, I just want to have. I want to do this 80s course. I think it'd be a lot of fun. To go over all these different style, the things that make the 80s the 80s, and I think it's gonna be fun, So like I said, it's gonna have this song that's just kind of, it just starts out like I said. I wanted it to be like just your classic 80s song. I just wanted it to be riffy, solo. So except I have like that intro. I'm trying to remember what the effects were. I think this was yeah. So it was that, and then you hear the clean guitar come in, and the clean guitar is kind of interesting because it's a multi-delay with chorus. So it comes in and it goes. I can't remember. And then, yeah, that's what it was. I remember now. Yeah, because I go. It goes into that next part, which I said it was all Cali and actually the PRS is what this track was so far. It goes into the next part. Sorry, A. The do ba da da da. No, that's like the rhythm, and then what I have, the way it was kind of going into the solo, is it? I can't do it. Hold on. then it goes into like the big kind of chorus part, which you guys didn't hear yet. And that is this section. Obviously, I don't have anything for that part yet. But I thought the chords were kind of cool because it has some more like complex chords in it, and then it has just like the rock. So, do dive bomb. Dive bomb, way more flutter. Should we wear a headband? I know, right? It's kind of like the other 80s riff. I said there's 4 of them, so. The full EP might not be out at the same time as the chorus like I had planned, but that one song will be with the chorus. Oh, nope. You can see where I pick on all of my guitars. Orange, I know, right? Orange headband. What am I thinking? What am I doing over here? So other than that, guys, any final questions that you have for me? I'm gonna put the guitar down because I'll just end up playing it again. But you know, how did you guys like the live stream? Like the setup, the new camera angle, just the new camera in general that I'm using for this. Do you know any metal? I used to know how to play some metal. I really don't know it anymore, to be honest. I don't really have like that metal gallop and rhythmic structure in my hand anymore. But yeah. So like, was the like, is this angle cool? Did you like the switching? Kind of like I could do this one. The string changing thing, you know? Did you guys think it was dumb? Cronus, I'll show it. I won't play it because I don't have the cable anymore. The Cronus right here. It's a mighty fine. A mighty fine machine. See if I can stack this in this guitar stand. Oh, that's a bad idea. That's a bad idea. I can tell. The picture-in-picture was nice. Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. A nice little thing that I can do now. I forgot I could do that. So when I start doing those live lesson thing, that'll be really helpful. How are we gonna make it? I know I have the like hair permed out and everything. Ow! Wow, that hurt. Man, I kicked the mic stand. Oof, that hurt. Awesome. Do some more with TK. Yeah, man, I'll have to, like, their schedules will just need to line up. The Acacia is incredible. It was a good conversation. Thank you very much, Great Vanzini. I had a lot of fun, to be honest, like as lame as it might sound, just sitting here changing strings, but it was a lot of fun. Fun fact, in Robert's previous guitar room, he could stretch his arms out and touch 2 walls across the room with his hand. Hey, that's true. How did you know that? Maybe I talked about that before. But yeah, no, you could. I could literally, like, I could just sit here and comfortably touch the walls. It was basically a closet. I mean, it was very, very tiny. And it was always funny because when people would come over and see it, like my buddy Derek or whatever it is, they would see the room and hold on one second. Where'd my thing go? There it is. Okay. Anyways, people would come over, like my buddy Derek or whatever. He'd be like, "Oh, whoa!" He's like, in the videos, because we angled the camera in a particular way. It made the room look bigger the way that we angled everything and like the lens that we used. He's like, "Wow, I always thought this room was so much bigger than what it was." But there wasn't room for 2 people in that room. You were on top of each other basically. You demonstrated. Oh, maybe I did, yeah. But it was so small. And whenever I said when we moved to this house and this room, it's still like I still love how big this room is. Just the ability to move around and feel comfortable. I really, I'm just thankful, to be honest. More than anything, like I love having all this stuff, but I'm just thankful. But can enjoy it more when there's someone in the chat. Yeah. Actually, honestly, I think that's subconsciously. I'm like, hey, this makes changing strings better. Just hang out and chat with you guys. Opinions on Polyphia. I think they're amazing. It's not really so much my thing, but there's no denying how incredibly talented those guys are. You know when people don't like it. Yeah, I agree. And unfortunately, you guys are stuck with me at this point. Some goofy long-haired guy from Ohio. So that's what you got. So that's as good as it gets with me. So other than that, I thought a student in a tiny room like that was weird. Was afraid from time to time that we would beat each other with a guitar. Yeah. The store that I taught at for probably 5 years was tiny. It was literally a closet. It was very, very tiny. Barely enough room for 2 people in there. It was so small. And I remember like some parents would want to like sit in on the lessons and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh my God, try to fit 3 people. So we'd all just be like, all right, play a G chord, and like, no room to move at all. More string changing streams in the future. Awesome. Yeah, I'll make that happen. Yeah, like I said, this was a little bit of an experiment, and it was a good way for me to test using cameras and flipping between them and all that stuff. So we'll wrap things up here in just a minute. I can't believe there's still 251 people on here. Thank you so much for sitting with me. You mean you could my wife was like, oh, for the 80s things, let me crimp your hair and all this stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not going that far. I just like the sound of the 80s. It doesn't mean I want to look like I'm from the 80s. Open the door, they'd have to stand in No, Preston, literally, to get out of the room, like, we'd have to get an extra chair in there. We would have to, like, whenever it was time to go, the parent would have to get up and hold the chair over their head and hand it to me so they could even open the door and get out. And then the student would go out, and I would, like, shimmy the chair out of the room. It was, like I said, super, super tiny. Do I meditate? No, I don't. Probably should. I've heard a lot of good stuff about meditation. We do have kind of like meditation music on in the house a lot. So I discovered a few years ago when I was traveling a lot, just in hotels and all that different stuff. I really like to listen to what was called sleep music, and ever since then, like I have sleep music albums on my phone, and I remember think I showed it to Gabby. I think she always listened to like feng shui music and different like meditation music, but I like sleep music. I really liked. It's a little bit different. So we have those. What are they called? They're called something, but it's like the Alexa thing around the house, and there's always sleep music playing on it, even like in the middle of the day. Like so, it's kind of like meditative music, but it just adds like a real pleasant vibe. Except for if I'm like in there like doing something, like if I'm like cooking food for lunch or something, I literally always like I have to have funk music on. So I'm usually in there just like I'm like no when you're hot, but I'm doing the bass lines, boom, doom doom, doom doom. So it I'm sure it's annoying for them, but that's just the price they have to pay, man. Play that old blue guitar. Oh yeah, the blue guitar. Oh, it depends which one you mean. If you mean the Acacia, it's fixed with a new neck and all that kind of stuff. So, do you hum scales when you practice? I don't. No, I'm afraid I don't. I don't have a very good voice for like singing and pitch and key. I can hear it. I can hear that I'm not singing in key, but I don't know how to correct it. So. Much of Connection, great album. Jazz fusion knocks me out. Quick style. I sleep to metal as well. Oh, nice. I used to listen to music when I slept. I don't anymore. Just, I think from like a, parent standpoint or whatever. I like to be able to hear it in case Mason needs me or something. So I can't really. I used to listen. I literally would sleep with earbuds in, but I don't do that anymore. The music feed was Pantera. Can't sing and play the same. I can do that, but I just can't sing well. So, what can you do with that? An old STP versus new STP. Well, I haven't heard any of the new STP, but. It would be definitely interesting to hear without Scott singing. Do it. Trower is good. Oh yeah, Robin Trower is amazing. Being a musician needs to come with warning labels. There's a lot, man. I have a tremendous amount of respect for live musicians or just gigging guys, and just in general, whether it's session studio work or whatever. That's a hard job. That's a very hard job, especially right now. I think now we kind of see like the side of it that you don't think will happen to it. So I'm just hoping that all of my friends and fellow musicians can make it through it okay, because it's certainly, like I said, very scary times. My particular job, YouTube hasn't been affected yet, but I can certainly see it being affected. I was just talking to Rhett Scholl about this, because YouTube views have been really down the past couple weeks. I was just telling him, I said, if things keep going the way that they are, the way I foresee it is, people will quit buying ads on YouTube, and that will obviously then affect, more social-based musicians. So we'll just have to see how it is. You can't get too caught up in the what ifs, or you'll drive yourself crazy. And I don't want to end the stream on a sad note. I think it was a total success. Strings are on the Tele for the first time in years. So look at that thing. Look at this baby. It's shiny. The frets are shined. I just smacked it on the desk. New battle scars. So all that stuff. Video slow down YouTube videos. How do you feel about that? Oh, that is like incredible. I've learned so many new licks that I normally wouldn't have taken the time to learn, just because you can slow stuff down now on YouTube. Dodging about it. Yeah, views would skyrocket. You would think that, but I think people are very focused on other stuff right now. It is what it is, unfortunately. So, like I said, but for now, we'll end it there. Hope you guys all have a great night, great Sunday. I'm excited to get up tomorrow. Sunday we always have pancakes and just a family day. So it'll be fun. I hope that you guys are all safe. Stay healthy out there. Just like I said, you don't have to be scared in your house, but I think just being aware and being cautious is a great way to kind of like approach a lot of this stuff. So we are gonna, we'll get through it. We'll all hang out again. I'll be live again next Saturday, and new videos, of course, next week. But I'm still on break, so if you don't see me in the comment sections of videos very often, it's just the next 2 weeks. I won't really be in there too much. I'm trying to comment a little bit, but in April it'll be back to normal, and I'll be responding to a lot more comments and emails. And other than that, if you haven't heard about it, I'll say it one more time. If you're just tuning in, link in the description. I made one of my guitar courses, the part 4 of my fretboard decoder, free. If you want to check that out, it's just like I said. If you're stuck inside, don't know what to do with all this free time or downtime, maybe you'll learn something from that. Maybe not, but you can check it out if you want. It is free. You do have to sign up for my school, but like I said, it doesn't cost you anything. You just need to create an account, and that's it. There's no monetary gain or incentive behind it. I just thought, versus trying to sell you something, why don't I just give something? Simple as that. So thank you guys so much, as always, for your amazing support. I truly do appreciate you guys so much. And just have a great rest of your day. And it's 3:16 a.m. here. So wherever it is, if it's Monday for you already, just have a good one. So great night. And that's it, guys. Bye, homies. Woo!